Hi YouTube. I wanted to make a quick video talking about the importance of realizing that what you have now is what you actually want and need at the moment. Um, don't mind my hair. That's what we're talking about. I had it up at the bun. I just got done working out, so I just don't worry. Anyway, so in the car, I was hanging out with my mom, and I was like, it'd be nice if I won the lottery, It'd be nice if I had lots of money. But then I was like, wait, what would I use that money on? Like, what would I even do? Would it just be sitting in my bank? Because I feel like that's what would happen. And, like, in reality, I don't think anybody needs $1 billion. Nobody needs $1 billion. The fuck are you gonna do with $1 billion fucking dollars? Probably be greedy and just keep it in your bank. That's what these people do. They're greedy and they keep it in their bank. And they don't do anything with it. They don't help the earth. They don't share their ideas, make helpful businesses half the time. They make businesses that hurt the earth and hurt other people. And, it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. Greed in this world is crazy. But at the end of the day, I feel like a smaller amount of money would be nicer to win, like, even 10 million. That could last you a lifetime. It really could. Even with vacations. Even with, paying your mama's bills. But, if you're smart with it. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, they want to be, like, really successful or whatever and have, like, $1 million bajillion. But what would you do with that? And the real question is, are you happy now? Because if you're not happy now, what would $1 million bajillion do? It would, get you clothes and vacations. You'd be able to go out to eat every night. Then what? You'd get bored eventually and go, oh my god, all these clothes, I don't even want to put them up. You take everything for granted. And I feel like, people even do that now. You think rich people don't take their money for granted? They do. They take their money for granted. And they go, yeah, I got $1 million bajillion, whatever. And that's how it's going to be eventually. At the beginning, you might be having a great time. But, if you're not happy now, money, it's something to get you what you want. But sometimes people don't know what to do with it. And they don't know what they want. Or sometimes what they want is not good for the soul. And I feel like, there's a lot of people who, they think they want something. But what is it that you really want? Because, you want what money can buy, right? Clothes. You want a house. You want a doggy. You want a nice little leash for your doggy. You want to spoil your doggy with a cute little little bowls and little, a little harness with wings on it. And then what? I don't know. Like, pay your mama's bills, take care of your children. That's great and all, but, like, let's say if you won $1 billion, what would you do with that? You know how much $1 billion is? A million millions. That is unfathomable. And I just feel like, some people, they think that they want that. And it's like, do you really, though? Because realistically, what is one individual person going to do with that? That's reality. Because, I don't know, man. If you don't have a lot of friends to share that with, and even if you do, it's like, what if you don't have friends? Then you're just going to be lonely with $1 billion. How's that going to make you happy? You're going to go on vacations by yourself? That sounds awful. That sounds like an awful time. You poor thing. And, I also think that, being rich, you'd be like, the dating scene? Oh my god. The dating scene, I'd be paranoid to date people if I was rich. I'd be like, they can't come to my house. They can't see my car. They can't see my mansion with the pool and the hot tub and the waterfall in it. No, they can't. And the palm trees in the pool or in the inside of my house where the hot tub and waterfall are. They can't do that. Because they're going to know I'm a billionaire. And then they're going to go, oh, that's a lot of money. And I'll be like, yeah, well. And then, people like that, you never know who's going to just try to, like, skedaddle in your life and try to, like, use you for your money. Like, I feel like the dating scene would be awful, But, I feel like a lot of people who are rich try to date people in their rich pool of dating. But, I feel like there's a lot of people that are normal that would treat people better. A woman, even if she's rich, it would still treat her better than some rich guys would. Because, I don't know. I'm sure that's a thing. I'm sure there's some celebrities that can't find a mate, and, someone who's normal would treat them better than anyone else in the whole world. And I feel like that's okay. I feel like some people just take money too seriously. Like, I mean, money is great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like, it buys you things. And right now in my life, I know I don't really need anything more than what I already have. I have everything I need. I have a home. I have a cat. I can buy cat and dog food, whatever. I can take care of my child. And, I got everything I need. I can buy mochi. I can buy sushi. I could go to the gym, work out. I can buy a tattoo. I can buy clothes. I could buy glasses so I could see better. What else does a human being really need other than the basics? You really got to think about that, because I feel like a lot of people really go, oh, well, I want to live in luxury. Well, guess what, sweetie? I was sitting at the gym, and I was, like, thinking to myself, because I was sitting there waiting for my mom, watching the TV with my luxury music playing, and I was like, I feel like I'm in luxury right now. Because I got headphones that are playing jazz music, and I'm sitting here on a couch looking at these beautiful leaves on TV. And, I feel like somebody out there would die for this life. I really do. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize how in luxury they already are. Because there's a lot of people who work their fucking asses off and still don't have a comfortable place to live. And still can't barely afford to fucking eat. And this is a luxury. Having a phone is a luxury. Having headphones is a luxury. Being able to go walk outside and not get shot is a luxury. Okay? And I really mean that. There's really scary places in the world. There really are. And I feel like, I've seen this girl on TikTok who was literally in Ukraine, and she had bombs coming down from the fucking sky. You could hear the explosions, and she was just sitting there with her cats looking afraid because she's like, I still have to go into work. She still had to go to work. Excuse me? What? Like, that's insane to me. I think everybody should be trying to help each other and move somewhere else instead of going to work. But, I don't know. That's just insane. And, I'm glad I'm not in that situation. No offense to that girl. I just, even being safe is a luxury. A lot of people think that they want something when they already have everything they need. I got everything I need. I'm very happy for what I have. And, I do think of life as it's a special event. I'm a miracle. I'm a miracle that I was even born. Because you know how many sperms there were? Millions. And I'm the one that went into the egg. Yes, I am. I'm the one that went into the egg. So I was meant for this life. Even if I don't want to be here right now because of everything that's going on. I'm like, what's going on? You know, sometimes with the whole, files thing, that was a shocker. I was never a conspiracy theorist. It just came all at once. And I was like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I lost 10 pounds in a week because I was afraid. I was like, what if I'm eating something I don't want to eat? Like people. There was a human meat conspiracy, and I looked into that. And there's this rabbi that was talking about it. Rabbi Finkelstein. And I don't know if that's accurate, but it sounds plausible. It sounds kind of plausible because, if you think about it, where's all the cows and pigs? I don't see any. I don't see enough, anyway. I don't see enough to feed billions of people. Where are we getting all the food? That's the question, because we eat a lot of meat. And in America, there's a lot of obesity. And I'm obese. I admit it. I'm obese. I eat too much. And I feel like obesity should be illegal. I think I should be illegal. I think I need to go to fat camp. I think obese people should be illegal and be like Japan. Not because obesity is gross. I don't think it's gross. I have no problem with obese people. But I feel like the resources on Earth, and hear me out, Japan does this, okay? Japan is very smart. They're very intelligent. They know that they're on a small enclosed space on land. If they all were obese, they'd have a lot less food per person. And it would take up a lot more of their resources because I know I eat for 3 people, maybe more. And that's, and the really obese people, like the 500-pound people, they eat a lot. And I'm not hating on obese people. I'm just saying, as a race, as a human race, I feel like, if we're to the point of eating other people, maybe we should smarten up and start, making obesity illegal. That's what I think. And I'm obese. And I'm saying this. So, I mean business. I'm just saying, because, I don't know. If we're running out of resources to that point, I don't know if that's what's happening, okay? I don't know. But with the files coming out, it wouldn't surprise me. And that's the sad part. And I don't want it to be, I'd rather eat beans. I think veganism is the future. I think it should be the future. Maybe not veganism, but pescatarianism maybe. Or even, very rarely eating mammals, such as eating them as a delicacy, a very expensive one. That's what I think. $50 for a steak and 5 cents for a can of beans. A can of beans can get you somewhere. That's what I think. Food would be a lot cheaper. If we all had beans in front of our houses, we could all eat for free. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just stressed out, people. Stressed out. But what I'm trying to say is, life isn't always perfect, okay? It really isn't. It's not always perfect, and sometimes things go wrong. Like, I have bugs in my house. Ew. Do I want bugs in my house? No, it's not roaches, by the way. It's flies. I got flies and fucking gnats in my house. Because my son left an apple on the floor, I didn't know, and it was rotting. And it gets fucking rotten over there, and all the gnats were on there breeding on it. I was like, what the fuck? Children. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, life isn't always perfect. Things go wrong. But always be grateful. I have food to eat. I have money. I have love. I have friends that love me. I love myself, and that is beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than loving yourself, being confident, and being a nice, kind person to everybody. There's nothing more beautiful than that, because kindness is very beautiful. Okay, and that's what I try to do. I try to strive to be as kind as I can, because I think kindness is beautiful, and I think people in this world need to be more kind to each other. And I also think they need to be more grateful for what they have, because people, we all, I'm struggling sometimes, and I understand what it's like. I had to pay my mother, I just recently quit my job, and I had to pay my mom $800 a month for gas, because she had to drive 3 hours a day in total to take me to and from work, and then go home, take me to, bring me back. It was a 4-way trip every day she did for me. And I was very grateful, but I did have to pay her a lot of my check. And, I have a child, I was struggling. And, life isn't always perfect. And I understand if, last winter, this past winter, I got kicked out into a heatless house with my sick baby. Okay? I know what it's like to struggle. I had a sick baby, and I got kicked out into a heatless house with no heat. Okay? And it was very cold. It was very freezing, and we had to wear coats, and it was still freezing. We had to wear coats in our house, and it was still freezing. And literally, I'm just saying, I know what it's like to struggle. Be grateful. Be grateful for having heat in your house in the winter. If you do. If you don't, I get it. I've been there. If you have food, be grateful that you get to eat. Because there's a lot of people in the world who would die for a fucking bite. And I fucking mean that. And there's people who would die to have a safe place to live. There's a lot of homeless people around here. I saw this chick laying on the street with a pizza in front of her. Just laying there. I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God. There's people out there who would die for a safe place. And I do feel bad, and I wish them the best. But what I'm saying is, even if you want lots of money, whatever will be, will be. Okay? Whatever will happen, will happen. Maybe you are not meant for billions of dollars. Listen to me. Maybe you are not meant for billions of dollars. And that is okay, because who fucking needs $1 billion? Nobody. Nobody needs $1 billion. That's a million millions. That's unfathomable. I don't even have $1,000. You understand? And I really mean that. And if I saved up, what would I be saving for? Money is for using. That's my philosophy. I like to spend money to have fun. Because having fun is beautiful. And I mean, in a sense, if you're spending the money that you're earning, you can have a lot more fun and live the party life. And that's what I like to do. I like to party. I like to have drinks with my friends. I like to get drunk, have fun, dance. I like to go to metal shows. I like to do all kinds of stuff. I like to play pool. I like to play darts. I like to go out in nature and gasp at its beauty because it's so gorgeous. And I'm about to do that after I get done with this. But I'm just saying, it's gorgeous out there. And listening to music is a luxury. Listen to your favorite song and revel in its beauty, because a lot of people, I'm sure, tribal people, they never heard music. Imagine what it's like to never hear that. Bitch. That's crazy to me. There's people who live in the forest with a bunch of bugs. Am I almost there? Maybe, because I got flies everywhere, you stupid bitches. But what I'm trying to say is, that life, nature, human beings, I think we're just very social creatures. In order to be truly happy, we need to have a lot of love and close friends. That's what I think. And we need to be kind to our children and teach them to be kind to other people. That's what I fucking think. Because they learn from you. They learn from you. And although they get angry and can't control themselves, they don't know any better. They don't. So I always try to be calm. Sometimes I'm not, but I always try. And most of the time I'm pretty good at it. So I just look at him. And I'm like, boy, you crazy. And that's it. And that's simple sometimes. Sometimes you just need to just laugh. Laugh because it's ridiculous. And it's that easy sometimes. It's ridiculous how crazy these people are, these little children. And that's okay. Sometimes they're frustrating, and that's okay. That's life. Sometimes they want to wiggle out of your grasp and crawl around on the floor. That's okay. That's fine. I'll just grab him and put him in his chair, and he can have a tantrum there. That's what happened today. By the way, we went out to eat, and that's what happened. But I don't know. I'm just grateful for everything. I'm grateful for my son. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm just grateful, that I have interviews coming up. Because I just quit my job and I got 2 interviews lined up already in like 2 days. So that's good. And, hopefully I'll get a job. If not, I'll keep searching. And I'm just really grateful, I'm grateful for what I have. And that's the message here, is to be grateful. And even though you might want $100 million like everybody else in the world, maybe get a lottery ticket and try that. Because, if you're not actively trying to, make a business or do social media or, something like that, it might be more difficult to do that. Because, even if you work a factory job and you save thousands and thousands of dollars, what are you really saving for? A house? I don't know. I don't understand houses. I don't know if I'd ever want one because I like to move. I like to leave. Like, I don't like to be stationary. I don't know. That's just me, though. I'd rather, be able to leave and then, come back. I don't know. That's just me. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Maybe I helped somebody feel more grateful for today. I don't know. It's good to feel grateful. High five for feeling grateful. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Just make a list of what you're grateful for if you're having, problems with that. And just really try to socialize more and be more happy and talk to people in a nice manner. Because the nicer you are to people, the more love you will receive and the happier you will be and the more you will love yourself, therefore making you feel happy. So that's my advice. I've lived and learned, and I got a lot of wisdom even though I'm only 27. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.